And welcome in, Dr. Mario fans, to our 2023 Monthly Speed Tournament May Gold Bracket. This is our birthday stream here at DrMC. I'm Luke the Librarian, and joining me this morning, or this afternoon, I don't know what time it is, who knows, maybe it's morning for you, is going to be John Depp Flindo. Hey Flindo, top four seeds in this one, and as much as you and I would love to have been playing today, I don't think we could have asked for anything better.
I absolutely agree. This is going to be an absolute banger of a semifinal Sunday. We got our number one seed Influx versus our number four seed Floyd 1977 coming up. This is their second meeting. Floyd won the first one back in June of 2021. That was a round two match. So these two have never faced in the semifinals. I think this is going to be really interesting to see. Looking at their average scores for this level block, which is 10 through 13, Influx has a 7 minutes and 54 seconds, while Floyd has an 8 minutes and 31 seconds. So, as far as the numbers go, Influx has a slight edge, but we saw what Floyd did yesterday in his round two, and if he plays like that again, this is going to be absolutely fun to watch.
Absolutely. Floyd is a two-time champion himself. These guys can definitely both dish it out as well as they can take it. And honestly, that June 2021 number is nice. That's, I'm the one who ran the note, so I know that that's what it was, but I just looked it up. That was Influx's second tournament. He had only been with us for a month before that and had yet to really pick up the speed aspect of the game. So the fact of the matter is you can throw that out. You can throw everything out. These two are going to be out to play their game, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to provide for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much looking forward to this one. Right off the bat, noticing we have Influx himself rather than Bear Bear today. So nice to see you there, Influx.
Yes, indeed. And once we
Oh,
get our
there's Bear Bear.
readies, yeah, there he is. Once we get our readies from our players, we will be ready to kick this one off. Now, we are in our semifinals, so that is going to be a couple of changes. Number one, we're going to be playing levels 10 through 13. And number two is it's gone from a best of three now to a best of five. So, uh, it's going to be a little bit longer. This is going to turn in from the sprints that we saw yesterday to the marathons. So we do have readies on both sides. And now, once we get our countdown in, we're going to be kicking this off.
Absolutely. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, and pills.
All right, Zinflux first off, and that is a lot of blue dot. Whereas Floyd has a little more of a balanced board, but also missing red on his top line. So just early starts. I'm not sure who to give the edge to there, Flindo.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation for both players. And Influx, if he's not careful, is going to be potentially looking at a very split board situation here. You see, he's only got 3 viruses remaining in his columns 4 and 5, and they're all red. So he's going to want to be very careful about how he plays this. But looking over at Floyd's side, he's just opened up the only yellow access he's got.
Yeah, that's been an issue for just a little bit on this side of his board is the lack of yellow. He did do a really nice horizontal that prevented any garbage a little bit earlier. But yeah, whereas he is looking at nothing but reds and blues and things are starting to open up more cleanly. You look at the top of Influx's board and it's all yellow. 100% every top line until just now has been yellow. So it's going to be a question of how quickly can he get that worked out.
Yeah, and he had a setup where if he had a yellow horizontal setup to where it was going to drop some reds down and clear those out, and he got that as you were talking about it, Ook. So he had a plan for it, as Influx usually does have a plan, and he showcased that very well. He's just going to need one more yellow and one more blue, and he'll be out. Floyd just looking for some red help here. Influx gets the blue that he needs out at a 141. Influx not going to be too far behind. This double red was a really nice gift for him. There's that red out about 8 seconds behind Influx at a 149.
Absolutely. And Influx already getting knocked out with this lack of blue on his top line is setting up for for a big sweet tea. That's going to work out. It's only going to leave him with a little bit of garbage. Floyd with a better balanced top line. Again, not much we can do about that ourselves, but it is about what we do with it. And now, though, he's running into an absence of red.
Yeah, once he clears out these yellow, he's going to be able to open some up. I like that horizontal play there by Floyd. He now does have access to the red, but he, in so doing, has lost access to yellow. So we'll see how the pills drop for him. He appears to be getting some stuff that he can work with, which I'm sure he's really pleased with at the moment.
Yeah, Influx, meanwhile, has really started to open this board up. We're seeing tees, we're seeing all sorts of crazy stuff. He actually had a quad earlier. And, if you've played this game much at all, you know quads are not something the doctor gives you access to very much, especially not straight up in a line. Um, a lot easier to get them in combo play, but he's looking for some triples here. I don't know how he's going to get it. I'm sure he will find a way, though, but it might give Floyd just a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, that double red, if he had put this blue red in his column 5, one pill to the left, and that double red came up, he could have gotten a really nice horizontal out of there. I don't blame him though for sticking it where it was because those double pills don't show up very often. It's a really nice heads up play by Influx as he gets this massive drop combo to be out of his 11 at a 129 or 329, excuse me.
Now, Floyd, as we've noticed, I know I was hearing it in the commentary yesterday, has kind of swapped his style up. Floyd, known for a very top-down play style, and has been working a lot more combo-friendly plays, doing a little bit more underplay than we've been used to seeing him. It's still a fairly straightforward style, but it's a question of whether that switch up has improved his time as he gets out at a 4 minutes, or if it is slowing him down because he's having to take a little bit longer to think than he's normally done.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see him play in this new style, and it's been a lot of fun, honestly. But looking at Influx's side, he has had a lot of really nice combos, just as Influx does. He had a nice horizontal into a situation where a couple different pills dropped. One of them cleared, and one of them set up really nicely for another clear. So Influx down to 31. Floyd down to 40. He's not that far behind. If he gets the correct RNG to work with, he could come back in this very quickly and very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Influx just showing that he's got this buzzsaw style. It's very, straight down, let's get this done. Never stops pressing down. It's very Packy-esque in its methodology, but that's working for him this time. And you never know, from one game to the next how well that's going to work out. But so far, it, like as you said, has kept him with a bit of a lead here over Floyd.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Floyd, he had a really nice lightning bolt into a drop combo just a little bit ago. It was really fun to see. Floyd's problem right now is he's got a heck of a lot of yellow on that top line. I like what he did with that red yellow, taking the drill down and setting up the red in column 8 for another clear. Takes the horizontal here and getting some really nice setups. But Influx, he were already out at a 544.
Yeah, Floyd. Oh, well, a little bit of not even a full-on misdrop, just a real bad bit of luck there. And it did cause him quite a bit of drop time. And now he has finally gotten that column 8 taken care of. It was giving him quite a bit of trouble, but he's going to be out now at a 606.
606, so about 21 seconds to make up for Floyd. Um, Influx has a lot of blue on his top line. If he doesn't get the right pills, this could be Floyd's chance to get back in this. Influx setting up for that horizontal blue. He's going to get it with this double blue. Sets up the red yellow to drop down on the pills underneath. A very nice setup. And he is down to 29 viruses remaining.
Yeah, that did leave him with a little bit of garbage though, so that's going to be something he's going to have to work around. The nearest blues are quite a bit further down the board and are really probably going to be knocked out with some horizontals here. So I don't think that those two blue pill halves are going to be useful, and as you see, Influx knocks them right out.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he didn't do it with the first double blue, but he did get a second one and was able to clear that out really nicely. Floyd has brought this deficit now down to 14. A heck of a lot of yellow, but really nice undertuck to get a sweet tea. That's something we haven't seen Floyd typically do in the past. Really fun to see that from him.
Yeah, swimming has really taken over. I'd say that's a pretty fair assessment of what's going on as far as the community goes. And Floyd has said, "Okay, if this is the way we've got to play now. This is the way we got to play." So I love these setups for Floyd, but I do think Influx might have him on on the ropes here. Um, yeah, especially with the pills coming up. He needs one more blue, then follow. Well, no, just it. One more blue, and he is out at a 746. So GG's to both players, as Floyd not going to be too far behind.
Yeah, he should get a sub 8, and he will with a 755. Only a 9-second game. Is very close. GG's to
Oh yeah,
both players.
absolutely. And yeah, taking a close one against Influx. That's yeah, who does that? Uh, losing, I should say, losing a close one against Influx. So, all right, Floyd taking a second, making sure his Mario juice is prepared. Brown bottled Mario juice this time.
Yeah.
Three,
We
two,
have
one. Hills.
Jules.
Oh, Doc, that's more blue for Influx. And wow, I'm gonna have to rewatch that and see exactly what he just did because I looked away for a second and then just a straight up T with two pills just exploded on Influx's board. That was a really smart play to start off.
Yeah, I believe he got a double blue, which was really, really nice for him. Just based on the starting boards, I've liked Floyd's a little bit better. He's just got a little bit more diversity than Influx does. But as you mentioned, with all that blue that popped up at the beginning of his board, um, but both players are doing a really nice job of whittling this down. You see Floyd set up for some really nice combos. He takes one there. He's got another one with this red yellow that's going to drop down and set up for another clear. Just making some really nice top down play in the Floyd fashion.
Yeah, but now he's running out of yellow pretty quickly. But if we look over at Influx's board, we see everything is stacked up in the corners. He does have pretty much everything set up with doubles except for that one red, and the blues getting ready to go horizontally. So it's not going to be an issue. And in fact, it's probably one of the faster ways to get through this end game, as he does take a little more drop time than is necessary there. But it's not going to end up being too big of an issue. What's really the issue is waiting on that red. He's out at a 132.
Yeah, 132. And you saw him shaking his head. He knows he shouldn't have put that red there. He should have put it on the other ones. But he does manage to get out almost sub 130, which that's a really good time for level 6. So seeing that
Right?
in level 10, holy cow, as Floyd is battling to get the reds he needs.
Yeah, now he's got that decision to make. You know, do I wait for a double red? He does get the double red. The question was, do I wait for a double red or do I hope to get something to stack it up? And then your question is it blue or is it yellow? Which one's going to come up more? And the answer is you don't know. So
Yeah.
the double red came at a very opportune time and does get him out of that level.
Yeah, really nice horizontal blue potential here for Floyd. A double blue would be ideal, but it is okay in a situation to do exactly what he just did. Unfortunately, he did get the double blue in his next box, so I don't know if he didn't see it or just decided to go for it anyway. Either way, he gets the plan he was going for, and just has a little bit of garbage there in his column 3. But if he should be able to get this cleared up real quick.
Yeah, and Influx is dealing with quite a glut of yellow garbage. I just made another little piece. I know that he can use some of this for, in fact, there you go. He's going to clear it all out right
Ooh,
there.
fat log.
But that's a lot of blue, Doc.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking when I looked over at Inflox's board. Holy cow, all that blue. We've got a one virus game here at the moment. It's given Floyd a chance to get back in this. Floyd's
Yeah.
gonna need a lot of red though.
Yeah, Floyd's needs are pretty monochromatic as well. Um, he is starting to get what he needs, but man, oh man, he would much rather have a little more color diversity everywhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the RNG he's getting, though. He's getting everything he needs to set this up. We're
Oh,
going to see a drop into a horizontal yellow. Nice play there by Floyd. Influx gets the last blue that he needs out at a 353. Floyd going to be not too far behind, just needs two more reds. And Doc says, here you go.
yeah, 11 seconds there. That is, he picked up about 20 seconds in that level. So definitely what Floyd wanted to be able to do. Now it's just a question of can he keep that momentum moving?
Yeah, and I'm really liking Floyd's top line. A little less yellow than I'd like to see. He does have the potential for a couple vertical double yellow clears, and he's going to get some more yellow help here. The only yellows that he's got after these are his bottom 5 rows, so it could be an interesting situation for Floyd if he doesn't get some red blues here pretty quick.
And meanwhile, on Influx's side, he is pretty bottled up in the middle of his board. It's very dense area. He doesn't have the split board that Floyd's got right now, but it was really taking its time getting to the bottom. But he is finding his way down to the bottom of the board, and now it's just a matter of getting this end game started so that he can knock it out quickly.
Yeah, we see Floyd setting up for a horizontal blue there at the bottom of his board. He's got a lot of blue right now on his top line. Fortunately, all he needs is one pill half on both sides to be able to clear this out. This blue red's going to be really nice for him. I thought he might go ahead and take the drill down on the left, but he elects to clear it out on the right instead. We'll see if that ends up working out in his favor or if he's going to be punished by that. But look at this blue red.
Yeah, that's some great pills for this end game. On Influx's side, he has already managed to get out of his level 12 and had a pretty spectacular drop monochrome fat log. It was not the sort of thing you see every day.
Yeah, both players just doing very well in the beginning of this 13. Not loving Floyd's board though. You see the lack of yellow. He does have one there towards the top, but most of his yellows are in the bottom half of his bottle. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, that is going to be a real recipe, a potential recipe for disaster in his end game because he's going to need that yellow towards the end, and there's no telling if the doctor's going to give it to him. The same thing for Influx, though, in his lack of blue at the bottom of his board. It's comparatively light there.
Yeah,
So
but
you got to imagine the doc's going to be giving him plenty of it when he gets there.
Influx just had a really nice drop into a sweet tea. It was really nice to see. I was a little concerned when I looked over for him. He had a bunch of what looked like garbage, but after a quick analysis, I saw the combos that he was setting up for, and he's gotten the pills he needed to get those cleared out really nice and efficiently. We're just see an L yeah from him with that blue yellow. Very nice play by Influx.
And on Floyd's side, you might have seen him shake his head a little bit. He missed a tuck that would have given him a lightning bolt, and that unfortunately may prove to be the final straw here, as Influx was already rocking a bit of a lead here, and yeah, that last misdrop really did throw Floyd off. Looks like everything's pretty free and clear. In fact, there's Influx out at a 757. So GG's to
757.
him.
Another sub 8 for Influx in this 10 to 13.
Yeah, I mean, what is this level 8 through 11?
I know, right?
Looking at sub eights, crazy.
Yeah. And as a reminder, this is a best of 5. So we have at least one more to play here. Floyd would love to pull a reverse sweep here on Influx and move on into the finals against our next match. We'll see if he's able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen crazier things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got readies from both of our players. And it is 3, 2, 1,
Kills.
kills. All right, nice board for Influx. Okay
Ooh.
board for Floyd to start off.
Yeah, just a little more red than I'd like to see on a top line. And so far, he hasn't gotten any red pill halves. And there's one. We'll see if this maybe turns into a red blitz. Unfortunately, it didn't. But he's been making some really nice plays with what he's been given.
Yeah, he's definitely managing to keep the garbage from being too much trash. Meanwhile, over on Influx's side, he appears to have been just, cruising while we were talking about Floyd. He's down to 25 and looks like he's going to have himself a nice setup here for a couple of horizontals. Looks like this might be there. Well, okay. He pulls it off in a different way.
Yeah, I thought he might take that vertically. Uh, and it does leave him with a bit of garbage on his yellow. But once he gets a double red and he gets one here, okay, I see what he's gonna do. He's gonna set up for this double blue horizontal to drop down. He could have had it there, but and he now we see he resets up for it. He takes it. Wondering if he's going to do with this yellow here in his row one, if he'll elect to take it horizontally or vertically. I think right now, with the way it stands, horizontally would be the better play. Oh, he takes it vertically. Okay.
You just never know.
Yeah.
But these two players very close as Floyd down to his last, Influx down to his last, and Influx out first at a 148. Floyd gonna be right behind him at a 150.
Very close match between both of our players. I like Floyd's board here. He's got just about every a pill a place for every pill is what I'm trying to say. Words are hard, folks. But now he's got a bit of a lack of blue.
But he's finding uses for what he does get, and that's really all you can ask. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, on Influx's side, I was a little surprised by what I saw, and then I looked a little deeper in Influx's board. On Influx's side, just, he's got a little bit of garbage now piling up on his top line, but he would love to see quite a bit of red yellow coming up, and that is what's starting to happen.
Yeah, I think he's probably setting up to clear out these reds horizontally. He's gonna have to clear out this blue piece to do it. That blue red and the blue yellow is absolutely what he needed to see, though. Uh, just doing what
There it
Influx
is.
does, and there it is with a sweet tea into another clear, into another clear, into another clear. What a combo by Influx.
Yeah, managed not to break the game, which is a concern, but, it all worked out.
Yeah, and he's already got another horizontal setup, which he's going to take here, and it's going to drop some more blues down to clear. Meanwhile, on Floyd's side, he is desperately needing red and yellow to get down to the three remaining blues on his board. This yellow blue is going to be really nice for him.
Yeah, Floyd actually had a lead there for just a minute, but has not been able to get it done.
Ooh, fat
Oh,
log.
that log. And unfortunately, the yellow blue came before the red yellow, and that's not what he wanted to see. But gives up. Floyd.
Um.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I
I
was like,
didn't
he's
see it
giving
either.
up an opportunity. But all right, so players again in in just not too far from each other. We see Influx takes a little bit of garbage so that he can set off a combo. He's got a little bit more garbage going on and sets up yet another bit. Looks like he did turn one of those garbages into gold, but He is dealing with a slight garbage situation at the top of his board, whereas Floyd, true to fashion, is keeping it fairly clean.
Yeah, Floyd's had a really nice start to this level 12. He's been playing that clean style that he plays, and it's worked out for him. He looks like he's wanting to clear out these reds horizontally. But he does clear out the blue that would have dropped down. If he gets that double red, I think he'll still go for it. We'll see if he gets it. Here it is, and he gets it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't not do that, right? Okay, you can, and that's sometimes the smart play, but still,
Yeah,
lessons we learn sometimes too late.
indeed. But Influx with some really nice plays of his own. Curious to see what he takes. Yeah, he takes the horizontal first. That's one of my mantras. If you've got a horizontal or a vertical, take the horizontal first. You can always get the vertical later.
Yeah, and that's that sounds like a very Swong thing to say. Uh, but anyway, so we've got just a couple more viruses left on Influx's side, and Floyd's board is, um, I mean, he's got some trash to clean out, but everything's kind of coming together. And honestly, it's got fewer viruses than it looks like it's got.
Yeah, and he's got some really nice setups there that he's working on. I'm gonna guess he's gonna take this yellow horizontally, and that is what he sets up to do. He's gonna have to probably clear out that blue from underneath. There's one, there's two. He gets three blues in a row, and another one to boot in his next box out at a 612. A little bit behind Influx, but it's not insurmountable for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just a couple of seconds between these two at the moment because Floyd did start just a couple of seconds later than Influx as well.
Hmm.
So he's got that timer advantage to him as well. Looking at the top of Influx's board, a lot of double opportunities, but a lot of them are really bunched up together, and sometimes that can create as many problems as it does solving them. Especially when you get these four in a rows like this, like these reds, you don't know how you're going to take them.
Yeah, but Influx has done some really nice plays with what he's gotten. Looking over at Floyd's side, I'm a bit concerned with all this red that's clumped up there in the center half of his board. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if it's. I mean, just playing out. If he doesn't get the red, then this game is Influx's.
Yeah, well, if Influx doesn't get the red, this game's going to be Floyd's. It's taking its own sweet time for both of our players, and oh wow, that's a nice combo coming
Ooh.
from Influx. And that may be the one that seals the deal for him because Floyd, as you said, is still just waiting around for a lot of stuff he's not getting.
Yeah, he finally got the reds he needed. He still needs a few more, but now what Floyd really needs to see is yellow. And Influx is down to just four viruses remaining. He's got a nice horizontal setup here that he's going to take. He can clear out these reds with this double yellow. He just needs one more red and he will move on to the finals, which he gets. GG's to Influx, GG's to Floyd as well. Both played a very fantastic game.
Yeah, this is the first game that wasn't won with a sub 8, and that is really saying something. So there's Floyd going to finish this one out at an 820. So just 17 seconds there. That was some great play from both of these players, and yeah, GG's to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
S- So what we have got coming up next, stick around. It is going to be Packy versus Frank. Can't wait for that one. Stick around. You're watching the Dr. Mario Championship Gold Speed Bracket, May 2023. Happy birthday.
And welcome back to the Dr. Mario Championship May 2023 monthly tournament. My name is John Dat Flindo. Joining me in the booth in just a moment is Savage Octagon. We're going to be bringing you our number 3 seed Packy versus our number 2 seed Frank. Savage, what do you think of this match?
I am super stoked for this match. I mean, obviously these two are titans of the game, and in the series they've played many times together. I think this is their 7th time seeing each other, and Frank has won 5 of those matchups, but Packy has won the most recent one. He won in round 2 in March, and going off of that momentum, Packy knows he can take Frank, and I think he really wants to go to those finals to see Influx.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since Packy has won one. I believe a monthly tournament. I believe like November of 21 or something like that was his last one. So he's definitely due, but he's got to get past Frank first to do it, and it's a pretty tall order, but he's done it before, and I believe he can do it again.
I think so. I think, there was a really, really long time where Frank looked like he was invincible. And I think recently in the last couple months, basically end of 2022, beginning of 2023, we can see how much players have responded to the challenges put forth by Frank and Adelito, and they're all ready to go. And speaking of ready, we had our 3-2-1 pills.
Yeah, not loving Packy's top line right now. No yellow access, but he does get a really nice horizontal blue to drop down and immediately clear a yellow virus. So nice play there by Packy.
Yeah, there's just a lot of red there. And Frank is able to just sort of seesaw down his board, keeping the top line fairly even. There hasn't really been much opportunity for a big combo. You're going to see the first one come down right now through the center of the board. Fantastic work from Frank there. But really, that was the first time he could get his game going.
Yeah, and Frank loves to Frank will flank you sometimes. It's true, but Frank loves to do those drop combos, and it usually starts with a horizontal and then dropping down things vertically to clear. That's the Frank style, and it's been a really great style for him so far. But believe it or not, we still have basically a tie game here. Packy with 12 viruses, Frank with now 14, now 12. So with that combo, it's going to be a heck of a game here, folks.
Yeah, I think with a game against Frank, instead of necessarily looking at that virus count, you are going to look at the virus count plus how many pill halves does Frank have on his board? Because if it's a lot, you know that he's just in a lag between combos. But yeah, these two players playing awesome. Look at that nice horizontal from Packy with the red. Good prioritization there, and finally gets the blue. He's out at 145.
Yeah, and with that, he is the first one out as Frank is struggling a little bit here at the end with his in game. He just needs a couple reds to get this yellow opened up. He could take it horizontally, which is what he's signaling he's going to do. Ideally, he wants to put this red on top, which he does, and gets the yellow horizontal. It drops down and clears out the red out at a 207.
And Packy is about 15 viruses ahead. Was working on his top line and sort of covered up his yellow, and he was building this nice blue horizontal, which then worked out for him. But yeah, so Packy has been able to get some things going, but not necessarily at a lightning speed. Nice horizontal red from Packy in the center of the board. Now this is really starting to open up for him, John.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm concerned with Packy's board is all this yellow on his top line. This double yellow is going to be absolutely fantastic for him. He does elect to clear the ones that were in the center of his board. I might have been tempted to go for the double yellows in column 3, but we'll see how that works out for him as Frank is down just by 3 viruses at this point.
Yeah, looking at his board as you were talking, I mean, here's just the amazing thing is all the pills showed up for the clears to be really efficient and really quick. This combo that you're seeing, the
Ooh,
drop T,
man.
was the first fancy one that's come in quite some time. Everything else was just nice verticals and a really great combo there. There we go. Not sure about that column 6 and 7. I think it might have been a misdrop, but it doesn't actually matter. It didn't cause any problems.
Yeah, I think that was a rare misdrop from Frank, but as you said, it wasn't a big deal. He's already got more plans to get that cleared up. All he needs is a red, and he's going to drop here and get the blue horizontal. Now he has 2 yellows horizontals already set up as Packy already into his level 12.
Mm-hmm. Frank out at a 357, really nice planning, using that blue red in a way that some of us would have just cleared it out and thought it was a mistake. And Frank used it very, very well. Packy off to a good start with this level. Lots of double opportunities, a great opening board for him. And just taking this down really evenly. I think taking a little more vertical play than you'd love to have. You'd love to have a little bit more horizontal coming here. But look, I think Packy's setting up for it on that top line with the Reds.
Yeah, and Frank just had a really nice L yeah that dropped into another combo. Really nice play there by Frank. And another drop combo there by Frank. He is just playing lights out in this level 12. I would like to see him open up a little bit more yellow access, which he does there. This blue-red, nice for him. Just waiting for him to be able to clear out and get those yellows and 2 opened up.
Mm, yeah, and Frank just had a giant L with the yellow across and dropped some yellow garbage. It did not matter. Packy was dealing with a bit of a misdrop in the center of the board. I think he had something that he did not want to play, but he very efficiently cleared out that garbage. Now he is a little bit locked up here in his end game. I think he'd like to go with these blue reds and take those reds in row 1 horizontally, and you notice he's alternating his prioritization. Makes a lot of sense given that there's that yellow in column 1, which is getting taken off right now, and gets that double red out at a 533.
Yeah, really nice prioritization there by Packy. I like what he did with the yellows, taking one and taking the other. I call that a back and forth board, and Packy just really showed off what you need to do in that situation very well. As Frank getting the last blue that he needs out at a 551. We're both in the final level of this first game, and Packy has a really interesting board. He's got a bunch of yellow here, but he does have a lot of opportunities to get some horizontals.
Yeah, speaking of yellow, Frank has no use for it on the top of the board. Packy had a ton of yellow, Frank has none, but notice he's starting to work on some combos. I think he could get, yes, he clears off those yellows in the center as garbage, but he's got a good horizontal opportunity here, takes it in the center of the board, but yellow is still going to be an issue because he's going to clean it up and no more is going to come.
Yeah, and speaking of an issue, Packy's got a little bit of an issue with his red. He would love to see a double red right now and get the sweet tea there in his column 3. It's a little bit risky to wait on because as we've said in previous matches, the doubles don't always come. In fact, you can see here Packy is gonna go ahead and set up for a drop combo then rather than waiting for that double
Oh,
red. But look,
and it
there it
shows
is.
up. Oh, man.
You hate to see it.
You really do. And I mean, maybe he could have done something with the double red there in column 2 and sort of bailed on that plan, but no, he is sticking to those guns. And as soon as he gets one more blue, it's going to happen. There we go. Takes out a big cross, but yeah, there is a lot of garbage in the way at the bottom of the board. That could give Frank a chance to really catch up on him.
Yeah, this double blue perfect though for Packy. That's exactly what he wanted to see, and it came at the right time. Frank is setting up for a really big horizontal combo with this red. He probably would love to get those yellows in column 7 cleared out. It's not going to be an issue though, as he does go ahead and get the combo, leaves him with a little bit of garbage. What looks like garbage anyway, but he's going to get this horizontal, and now that yellow is perfectly set up as Packy out at a 751.
Yeah, Packy took care of the end of that board extremely well. And in the end, all the pills just fell in just the right order, taking out some yellows and a blue. Very nicely done. Sub 8, just as Inflox's games were. So this is utterly fantastic. Frank at an 812. GG's.
Yeah, just checking the don't think that was a hot time. No, our number
Mm-mm.
20 hot time is a 7:37. So
Yeah.
that's just mind blowing that a sub 8 is not automatically a hot time at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, some games in round one are won in the 7-minute range.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have readies from both players. 3, 2, 1. Hills.
Hills.
Well done, John.
Hey.
Hey. All right, very blue-red heavy top line for Packy there. Luckily getting quite a bit of red to start off. Ooh, that nice horizontal with the red down the center, making him able to prioritize red and get a lot of it off the board.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna call Packy's board rude, and I kind of agreed. But Frank here is making some really nice plays. He'd love to take these blues out horizontally. He's doing everything he can with these
Mhm.
red yellows to keep this combo, and he's gonna fire it off here. It's gonna leave him with just a tiny bit of garbage, but he's already got that cleared up in his column 4. He does have that red on top of his column 6 that he's got to work with, but again, gets the double red, and it's already gone and cleared up.
Yeah, well, speaking of red, Packy had a dire situation at the top of the board. I think he got a double red stuck there that he might have wanted to tuck in between those reds in column 1. Not quite sure exactly what happened, but yeah, he had to take quite a bit of time to ameliorate that situation. So now he just has yellow red all over his board, and let's hope that R&D doesn't provide him with a ton of blue.
Yeah, I'm really hating the health of Packy's board right now. Just it's too much red and too much yellow. Fortunately, he is in a bit of a yellow rush, which allowed him to clear out all those yellows, but he still needs a ton of red to clean this up. As Frank is down to 7 viruses remaining, he also needs a lot of red. But as you can see, he's got a lot of setups, and once he gets the correct pills, this is all going to come down very quickly.
Yeah, and interesting, you're kind of seeing Frank hesitating a little bit because all of the setups that he needed are red, yellow. So here we go. He's going to
There it
get that
is.
double red perfect, and he's going to be out of level 10 at about a 157. But yeah, Packy's just behind a 204.
Yeah, very close game so far in this game 2 of our best of 5. I really like Frank's board here, especially with that double yellow that he just got, getting the drop and setting up what was underneath it. Very nice play there by Frank.
Yeah, I mean, in Frank's first 2 pills, he had a double horizontal, a lightning log, so it was outstanding there. Now, Frank, I don't know if you saw the next box there. He could have taken out that giant chunk of blue in the center with the double blue that showed up, but wasn't quite quick enough. Gets that L, yeah, very nicely done. And he's set up for another blue horizontal, which will take a lot off the board.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that he could potentially break the game here if he's not careful. And I think that may be why he went ahead and cleared out those yellows. Very, very safe play there by Frank.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have referred to breaking the game a couple of times in this broadcast, and basically, I don't think it's a set number of sprites that are going off at the same time, but if you have a giant combo, the game will freeze, and you'll sort of have to jiggle the controller, reset, so that the game will restart.
Yeah, I think it's typically with 9 or more, but I've done it with 8, but it's very hard to do with 8.
Mm-hmm. I think I've
But
done it once.
Frank out at a 335
Oof.
as we're talking about breaking the game.
Mhm. Now, Packy's got some setups here. He's looking at a red-yellow lightning log there. Was blocked off with that blue, but that garbage didn't matter. And oh, another fat log.
Another
Very
fat log.
nicely done. Just needs one more yellow, and he gets it out at 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's still a really nice time by Packy. The unfortunate thing for him is Frank just flew through that level 11, and he's got about a 15 virus deficit to Frank right now. And I'm not loving the top of Packy's board, Savage.
Yeah, it's not very diverse. There's a lot of blue and red on the top of that line. Yeah, and again, he's going to have to dig down a little bit to get that yellow. Nice job with that horizontal, but yeah, yellow's going to disappear for a little bit until he gets the red off of columns 7 and 8. And meanwhile, Frank has a very nice diverse top line, a drop vertical into a horizontal. I do not think that that drop in column 4 was intentional. He's probably going to be able to use it well, but you see that he's clearing out that red in column 4. So that definitely was garbage. So he is going to be using that blue somehow to help maybe row 4, but also dropping it down. There we go. Nice cross.
Yeah, Frank's board was a little bit sloped at the beginning. He's done a really nice job of evening it out. It is a little bit split now, but he's in the end game. It's not going to be that big of a deal for him as Packy gets a really nice horizontal there and going to get a nice L yeah of his own. Really nice plays by Packy.
Oh, and Frank just got a really awesome move. You know, he prioritized, he had a double blue that he laid sideways and then was able to clear all of the final viruses with just one pill. That is just some elite play there. And he's already starting to work on some combos on his level 13. I think he'd love to take these yellows horizontally, and he gets the double yellow to help him do that. So, man, he is really pulling away.
Yeah, absolutely. As Packy just needing mostly blue to get out of this level 12. I think he really would have loved to have taken some of the blues horizontally in his columns 7 and 8. He does get a horizontal there in about 4 in his column and columns 4 and 5. He is just needing blue like crazy, and the doctor is giving him some a little bit sparingly. He is getting them, but not as fast as he would like to.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, Frank is really working on these setups. Notice columns 4, 5, and 6, or sorry, 5, 6, and 7. Really nice combo there. And of course, the board vision to make sure that all those blues fell down appropriately. So he is just blazing through this. He's probably going to have to take some drop time there at the top of the board with that yellow in column 8, but the double yellow really providing a nice, you know, he doesn't have to do that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Frank didn't take that blue that he just cleared out horizontally a little bit ago. But, you know, Frank doing the Frank things and potentially going to be setting a hot time here, and he gets it with a 7:19.
That would
That
be the number 6 hot time ever in this level block. And you know, that's just Frank doing Frank things, honestly.
mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
Packy maybe finishing this one out.
you cannot compete with PB strats, honestly.
No,
I have already found that out the hard way this month. But yeah, Frank setting a big PB there.
yeah, that's a monster time there by Frank, and he was behind Packy out of level 10. So, you know, it was a great comeback. His 11 through 13 was just outstanding, and Packy having a little bit of a rough game. And one of the things that I always say is, you know, if you're gonna have a rough game, do it when somebody just got a PB.
Yeah, definitely. So Packy's clearing out the bottom of this board. Now he's going to take these blues out horizontally in row 1 and the red horizontally out in row 2. And then we'll need a couple of yellows after that combo triggers.
It's a really nice setup by Packy out in an 8:52.
Yeah, over a minute and a half slower than that hot time. And that's just the thing. I mean, Packy was playing a nice smooth game, but again, cannot cannot go against PB strats, especially someone like Frank.
Absolutely.
And
And we'll see if Packy after a loss comes out like he did yesterday against Betty.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Both of these players have this style where they really come out hard after a loss. And I think I was saying in commentary yesterday that if Frank is gonna lose a game, it's usually gonna be game one. And then, obviously what will happen next will happen, but he usually wakes up if he loses that game, and it's like you do not want to poke that big boss.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you use the term wake up because it is very early right now for Frank.
Mm-hmm.
As we are underway in what is now a best of three, and Packy looking to get a really huge combo here set up. He's getting red yellows that just keep undoing what he had set up, but he finally does get the yeah with the blues, and gonna probably get an nice undertuck there. He does do it. Nice play by Packy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and meanwhile on Frank's board, he's been getting a lot of good stuff to just have double verticals going on. Just really nice, easy pills. You see 1 and 7 and 8 right now, but there were plenty that were 0 drops. And he's setting up a nice T in the center of the board. Notice that when he drops down this red that's in column 6, everything is going to fall. Beautiful cross there. And he's set up for a potential, maybe if he takes this red horizontally out in row 3, on the right hand side, but actually no, he's definitely going to take those yellows horizontally, I believe.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's signaling that he's going to do. We're fixing to find out as he does get the yellow, and he does in fact do that. Now he can still take out those reds horizontally and drop down the blues, which looks like it's gonna be the play. And he also is set up to take out this red vertically, drop down and get the yellow horizontally. Just gonna need one more red out at a 137.
What? Ah.
What is this, level 6?
I know, these times are so fast. Very impressive. And Packy working on this end game. It looks a little blocked up, but if he's able to get that red out in column 5 and this double red, not going to take it because he's going to go for it in column 8. But ooh, blue red going to take a lot out. Just needs one blue to be out, and he gets it. He's going to be out at a 210.
Yeah, a 33-second deficit for Packy right now. It's a lot to come back from, but we've seen it done before, and Packy is definitely more than capable of this. As Frank's board is starting to get a little bit split there in his columns 4 and 5, basically empty.
Yeah, and notice he has a big T opportunity potentially in the center of the board, or a nice horizontal with the yellow that's going to make a chasm in the center of the board. Packy down by about 16, and the blue staircase that is brewing on the left-hand side of the board, not something that you want to see, especially if there's no diversity anywhere else on the top line. He'd have to tuck under, which he does in column 1, and there we go. Any other use for yellow is artificial.
Yeah, this is such an interesting board for Packy because the majority of his yellow and blue is on the left, and the majority of his red is on the right. He's got only 3 reds on the left side of his board. The rest are all on the right. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he navigates this. I'm a little curious to see it would be a risky play, but I'm a little curious to see if he's going to set up and try to desandwich those yellows, but he's not going to do it.
And meanwhile, on Frank's side, he did take those yellows out of the center of the board horizontally, as I thought he would, and everything else has been smooth sailing since there. Then some nice horizontals on the bottom of the board, and now he just needs one more red, and he'll be out at a 345. Woo!
Oof. And Packy just had a misdrop in his column 1. I think he is planning to clear out that red horizontally after all, potentially anyway, because he had the yellow blue, and I think he wanted to flip it the other way, and now he's getting red rushed, which he could have used to clear out that red. I don't know if he didn't see it or just elected not to do it. He's probably just trying to get out of the red rush as fast as possible because he had virtually no use for it.
And speaking of red rush, yeah, Frank's encountering a little bit of trouble with red on the top of this. He's getting a lot of not double red, but half of this, half of the other. and just having to slam it down. And since it's mostly red yellow underneath, it's hard to get any of those nice combos going that he likes to get. So it's going to be tough for him. And he is probably going to take these blues out horizontally. He does. And yeah, just trying to seesaw this down, unable to make any big brain combos.
Yeah, this is not a board that's very conducive to Frank's style. And I think he's struggling a little bit to figure out what exactly he wants to do. I like the play there that he made with the blue yellow, because as it drops down, it's going to drop into the blue yellow in his column 6 and 7. So, really nice play there by Frank.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Packy working at the end of his game, getting that red and the double red is just what he needed there, but he is at a big deficit to Frank right now. Frank getting ready to start his end game and Packy just beginning. But notice Packy is really ramping up the speed and just throwing everything down, John.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Packy does after a loss. Those pill movements just get really crisp. He gets super laser focused, knows exactly what he wants to do. The only problem is the doctor just does not always provide what you want to do.
Now, Frank is opening up here. Notice he can take these reds out horizontally, the other red in column 7 vertically. This double yellow exactly what he needs. And there we go. He gets those reds. It does take a little bit of drop time, yeah, with all of that garbage, but just needs one more red, and he'll be out at a 613.
Packy would love to see some reds and yellows right now. He does have the opportunity to clear some blue out horizontally. Really nice double yellow followed by a double red. I thought he might take the reds
horizontal there.
horizontally. Yeah.
Yeah.
He elects not to do that. He's going to get a horizontal here, though.
Ooh. And Frank, the beginning of that board, he ripped a lot of blue off of it. Giant cross in the center of that board. This is just going so quickly for him. And the diversity finally opening up in the middle of that board. Still going to have a lot of red, but there's enough things all around it of different colors that he'll be able to use almost whatever he's given, either for current needs or strategy for later.
Yeah, we had a misdrop from Packy there in his column 7 and 8. Fortunately, he got a few more red yellows to clear that out. But it's not what he wanted to see, especially when you're this far behind. I think it's pretty safe to say that Frank is probably going to walk away with this one, barring any huge catastrophes with the RNG. We'll see how it plays out as Packy probably going to clear out this blue and then get the reds horizontally. He does get the blue. He gets the reds out at a 749.
Yeah, so this is Frank's game to lose at this point, and look at that nice lightning bolt down into a vertical at the bottom of the board. Now, it doesn't drop that garbage perfectly to set up the horizontal on the blue in row 2, but it doesn't matter. He gets it vertically, and oh my gosh, all this blue red is just showing up for him at just the right time. Very impressive. And then he's got this under clear that he can make with the reds in column 2. And if he got a little double red blitz, that would have been perfect, but he is gonna be done at an 826. Frank takes game 3.
Wow, GG's to both players. I know Packy is probably ready to shake this one off and get going again. I know I would be. This is not a time that we typically see from Packy. He had a few misdrops that he was dealing with in a couple different levels. He was dealing with some RNG struggles. Hopefully he'll be able to bounce back after that rough game in this next game.
Packy would love a blue yellow here to take that fat log, and then the reds in row 1 would have fallen out horizontally, but he did have to clear out that plan. blue-yellow would really take out a lot of row 1.
Yeah, it's a huge combo that he's got set up. I like that he cleared out the yellows there to open up the blues on the right side. This has just not been a fair board for Packy, but he's gonna get okay, interesting. That blue yellow would have done it.
Now, one thing I would have liked to see on column 8 was Packy got a double red, which he could have stacked on top of the blues, and then that would have dropped down in order to take that red out a lot more quickly. He's out at a 10-11.
Yeah, 10-11, and you could kind of see him go bleh with his tongue. He's not happy with that. I don't blame him. But he's just got to shake it off and play some more Dr. Mario. Play his best. That's all you can do.
So now for Frank, all he needs is one win to get to that finals, and Packy needs to take 2 more. So let's see how that goes. I know Packy is going to turn it up to 11. He's going to want to settle just like adults, according to his t-shirts.
Yeah. Turn it up to 11, but start on level 10.
Exactly.
All right, and we have readies from both players. And our countdown 3, 2, 1, pills.
It's been a long time since we changed the level block. It used to be levels 10 through 14, and that was a marathon. I was just thinking back to those times once we mentioned our birthday, Dr. Mario's birthday.
Yeah, we changed those in our 2022 season, and it has helped the games to go a lot faster. And I know our players appreciate it. I know our commentators appreciate it. That's a lot to talk about.
It is. And these two are currently very, very even. These boards are nice, and a lot of very nice basic vertical opportunities for combos. And so Frank has been really just taking these out bit by bit. Is going to run into some red trouble, as is Packy. He's got a lot of red yellow coming up on the left and right hand sides of the board. So that's going to be, it's always a little tricky to get those out.
Yeah, but they're both making some really good plays. As you were saying, 2 very vertical boards, and Packy's done a really good job of getting combos where he can. He just got a really nice combo there. He's gonna get a nice pill for this right half of his board with that red yellow. Just needing to get the proper pills to break this down. As Frank out again, sub 130.
Woo! Yeah, some really good play from him. He had, I think, like 4 out of the last 5 viruses were red or something like that, but managed to minimize drop time with the other colors and take out those reds efficiently. There's a very, very small gap between these players at the moment, and it really is genuinely small. As I said before, you're going to count the virus halves on Frank's board. He doesn't have a lot of giant combos going, but he is going to be able to, once he drops this red, drop the horizontal on the yellow that is in row 1. So really going horizontal for a lot of these things, because the blue is not showing up for Frank.
And speaking of horizontals, Packy's first pill on this board was a double red. He didn't have any red at all on his top line. But one of the things that Packy does really well is looking down the board, because he did have one space for a horizontal red that he could have gotten with that double red. He tucked down, he got it, and it just shows the amazing board vision that Packy has. Unfortunately for Packy, he kept getting red after that. But once he got the pills he needed, he's been able to fly through this board, already down to 18, only 6 behind Frank right now for Packy.
And speaking of flying through this board, Frank has been really going to town on this. And notice he's working hard to figure out how to deal with this end game, because that blue is going to be in the way. He takes the double blue and sends it over to the side. Now, ideally, he's going to be dropping that blue in column 3 and exposing that open space to get the reds. Wow, he gets it in just the right order. He's out at a 313, but Packy is just catching up at a 319.
Yeah, Packy gained about a second, I believe, on his deficit for Frank. If he had gotten some not red pills earlier in that board, we'd probably be looking at a Packy lead right now. As it stands, Frank just has the slightest lead over Packy, who has a bunch of red here. Looking to maybe open up a little bit of diversity, which he does with that clear. I'm liking his top line a little bit better than I did before.
Mm-hmm. Now, Frank's top line, there were a couple instances where I think he started to favor a couple of drill play possibilities, just going straight down. But yeah, you can see from the center of this board being high that the blue has not shown up for him, and opening up the yellow on column 4 would make the situation slightly worse. But now he gets it so that he's got a blue-red situation. So now he's able to seesaw that down. Looks much better, but things could have not gone so well if the blue continued to not show up.
Yeah, and speaking of blue, that's exactly what Packy doesn't have access to right now. His top line is pretty much all yellow. And hey, you can see with all that yellow on the top, he just hasn't been getting the yellow to work with. He does have some really nice setups that he's gonna be able to clear out the yellows with a single pill like he does there, and drops the blue down, gets another horizontal blue. I'm gonna use that red to open up another horizontal blue, which he sets up for. He takes this drill and gets that horizontal blue. I feel like a broken record. Horizontal blue, horizontal blue.
Well, speaking of blue, that was really what was not showing up for Frank for a very long time, which enabled Packy to really catch up here. So Frank taking out this last red, but notice the right-hand side of the board when you see that, and Packy's out at a 523. As you see that, like, you know that something's gone wrong. But Frank, because of the small timer difference, he's actually out at the same time as Packy. So Packy's exactly tied it up, though he looks slightly ahead on our screens.
Yeah, and Packy would love this double red that just showed up.
Woo!
He did have to clear out the drop combo that he had, but it wasn't a big deal because that just took a bunch off of his board, down to 44 viruses. And looking over at Frank's side, he's got some really nice setups going as well. He would probably love to have a red blue to drop down and get the blues horizontally and clear out this yellow garbage.
Definitely. But now clearing out that red on the top, he's a little more versatile with that blue, gets it, clears it out, and has the other opportunity for a blue horizontal brewing. Very nicely done. Waited for the blue red there. But yeah, Frank needs a lot of yellow, and that's going to give Packy the opportunity. If he's getting diversity himself, it's going to give him the opportunity. And look at that giant combo from Packy. Wow.
I don't even know what to call that. Other than amazing. That
It's a
was
pack attack, whatever.
it is, yeah. That was quite a combo there from Packy, who has
Woo!
really built up an amazing lead
Oh.
with another amazing combo. Packy just playing on another level in this level 13. He's down to 11 viruses remaining. Frank's got a lot of red that he's got to try and work through. Packy also having a lot of red, but getting the pills that he needs. And he's pretty close to putting this one in the bag.
Yeah, wow. Those combos were just so fun to watch, and they'll be even more fun if he keeps getting red. Let's go. Come on. Now Frank is going to have a little bit of time to finish, but as soon as Packy gets blues on the side, he will
Oh, and he's
be
getting
able to
red
get
rush.
out. Oh no. Come on. One more. He's got it. Out at a 738. That is definitely a hot time, right?
No, it's not.
What? Just outside. 736 is the 20th fastest time. Goodness. All right, you see Packy excited for the win, and Frank is out at sub 8 as well. That is an incredibly fast game. We're here for it.
Yeah. A best of 5 becomes a best of 3 becomes a best of one, a decider. What more can you ask for on a semifinal Sunday?
Yeah, a decider too, where yeah, I mean we've got almost hot times, we've got hot times, we've got PBs. I mean, we just got everything.
Yeah, and I know both of these players are really hungry for a tournament win. It's been a little bit for both of them, and whoever wins this match gets to go on to face Influx, and either way, it's going to be a heck of a finals.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that with Adelito being gone this month, it was going to be anybody's tournament, and I'm really excited that it was these Titans who had the opportunity to get there. Also, happy first day of being married to Adelito. If you watch this back, he did get married yesterday.
Yes, definitely. Congratulations to Adelito, and we hope to see you back here next month in June.
All right, and we've got a ready from both players.
Here we go. Winner take all in three,
Three,
two,
two,
one.
one.
Pills.
Bills. Right. At that, Packy able to take those blues off horizontally right at the beginning with some good play, but he is leaving his column one open. He's going to have to. Ooh, no, he's not going to have to take some drop time. That double yellow coming at just the right moment.
Yeah, he does take a little bit there, though. Not going to be a too big of a deal for him, though. As Frank with a really interesting board here, he's just seemingly cleared out all his yellow access. That he does get a drop combo and opens up one there in his column 8. It's a really interesting board for Frank. I don't know if I like it or if I dislike it. He's got a really nice horizontal combo there. I think I'm starting to like it a little bit more.
I weirdly love it. I don't know. I'm like really feeling it for some reason. Dimwit used to say like he didn't know why he liked something or not, and I definitely understand that feeling here. Just a lot of cool things that Frank can do. Now he does have the opportunity for this red horizontally, takes it, waits a little bit, drops that double yellow out of the way. But now just a totally red blue story for him. Packy just has red yellow with that one just hanging out, looking for a blue yellow, probably. That's going to be perfect for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he could
great from both
have
these players.
Packy could have set up that blue yellow because he had a blue in his next box. He could have set it up to where the yellows would have dropped and cleared the yellows horizontally. But either way, he's out at a 137. Frank out at a 133. We've got ourselves a really tight match here.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have it any other way between these two players, honestly. Really nice opening moves from Frank, just able to lay things down and have a use for basically everything. Packy's got a situation where he just has a ton of yellow on this top line, and it's not too easy to build up some combos for things that will happen underneath. Notice he is doing that in columns 4 and 5, but he's got to make the decision to actually use those yellows. Finally does get them.
And speaking of yellow, Frank had a bit of a yellow surge, which was really great. The only thing, it lasted one pill too long, but he was able to clear it out pretty efficiently. Frank would love to see some reds right now. I'm a little surprised he didn't lay that double red horizontally
Mm-hmm.
and get the red and then drop the yellow down. But he's doing his thing and making some great plays.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I think column 6, it might be the trouble spot for Frank if there is one. You see that there's the double yellow on top there and a yellow down further. So not quite sure what's going to happen there. And Packy is speeding through, but again, he is going to hit a yellow spot in just a second. Ooh, this double yellow, really convenient for him. He could basically put it anywhere he wants and it'll be helpful. So,
Excuse me.
oh my. Hiccup? Burp? What are we talking about?
Sneeze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's
Packy
see.
just needing ideally a red blue. Not going to get that, but pretty much any red will be useful for him. He gets the double red, drops down, gets the yellow horizontal, gets the blue.
Ooh.
Frank out of the 327, Packy out at a 330. We had that same 3-second differential in the game, and so that was basically a dead heat in that level 11.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. And Frank's got this chasm in his board. Yeah, he was able to clear column 8 so that it wasn't too much of a pit there. But I think Packy's board is a little bit more conducive to just sort of going straight down and clearing things out. Although, yeah, he is going to have to take some drop time like he just took there. Still, although Frank's board is filled with doubles later down, it wasn't a good board at the beginning, so he had a little bit of trouble with it. Now it seems to be really opening up, though.
Yeah, he does just have a little bit more yellow than I'd like to see. A nice win there, though, by Frank to get that set up in his column
Mm-hmm.
2. Yeah, I just really need the doc to give him some more yellows. That's all there is to say. And I know Packy would love to see some more red and some more blue. Oh, holy cow.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was outstanding. I was here thinking like, oh no, something really fancy or something's really bad is going to happen. And of course it was fancy, but I could still be a little worried for a second. Whew, but that Packy has opened up a over 10 virus lead, and with these two players being neck and neck pretty much through both of the last games, that's exactly what you want. You want an advantage. Any advantage will do.
Mm-hmm. Packy looking to take these yellows in his row 1 horizontally. He does do so. Oh my gosh, look at that double
Yes.
and 2
Oh, look
double
at
yellows out at a
woo.
519.
Yeah,
He's
but
got to
look
be
at this,
happy with that.
a great combo for Frank, clearing out so much of his board and leaving things open. If he is able to get these yellows horizontally, everything's good, but he
There's
gets
the
a
fat
fat
log.
log. So he had a lot of good options there, and only a 10 or 12 virus deficit right now for Frank.
Yeah, this is definitely not over by any stretch of the imagination. Both players have pretty good diverse boards. Packy obviously a little bit farther along in his board. He's got a 14 virus lead on Frank at the moment. But Frank, we're fixing to see something really great from him. Really nice horizontal there. And Frank is more than capable of coming back and taking this away from Packy. It's going to be a little bit of a tall order with 10 viruses isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's not really, especially things were really falling for Frank in the way that he needed them to. There was there was an instance at the top of the board with a horizontal that could have gone very badly and didn't. So things are looking really good, and this red yellow perfect for him. Wow, all the garbage just falls perfectly, and there we have it. Frank is essentially back in the lead with the timer differential, and this is going to be so close.
Yeah, and we had a slight misdrop from Packy there in his column 4. I think he wanted to flip those the other way maybe, but now he's able to clear it out. I'm guessing he's going to take these yellows horizontally, which he does set up for. It's going to allow him the opportunity to take this blue either vertically or horizontally. He does elect to take it vertically. Packy just needing 5 viruses to clear out. Frank needing 6. Packy would love to see some blues. He's got a horizontal here, and this yellow-red is going to be really nice.
Oh my
Oh, but it
gosh.
may
No,
not
it's
be
not
enough.
happening.
Oh,
Oh, I
726 for Frank, a 733 for Packy.
and honestly, it might have been that misdrop that did it because Frank was really not getting the pills that he needed for some time. He needed to clear out that yellow in the center and it just wasn't really happening. Oh man. I mean that is a game that's the match we wanted to see, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Whew,
What a
man,
game.
GG's to both of those players. Truly well matched. Very exciting for all of us to see. So, Frank will be moving on to the finals against Influx. Packy snagging a bunch of those semifinalist points. So, we're going to move on to the finals in just a few minutes. Stick around. This is the Dr. Mario Championship. Welcome back, everyone, to the Dr. Mario Championship, our long awaited May Speed Finals. We've got Influx versus Frank. And wow, I could not be more hyped to call this, and more hyped to call this with Packy, who you just saw. Packy, how are you? That was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, I don't feel like that was a bad game at all. That was just
No.
Frank must have had a banger of a 13, so I'm not mad
Mhm.
about it because it's not like I had a bad one either. So
No, both of you played outstandingly well, and these two ahead of us are also going to play outstandingly well. This is their third meeting, and they've got a tie series so far, these two. So,
I believe their first meeting was actually the 2021 championships in the finals, and that was Frank's first loss that he ever took.
yeah, no, I think Frank, they saw each other in the finals of a monthly before that, and then Influx did beat Frank in the finals. A couple of people have kept Frank from that year-end finalist trophy, or the number one spot, and Influx is one of them. So it would be pretty sweet for Frank to take back that series right now.
I know we've already got readies from both players, so we are set to go for the finals.
Woo!
Best
3, 2, 1, pills.
We are going through levels 14 through 17 in a best of 5 series, and immediately no red on the top line for Influx.
Yeah, so he's going to use that red pill halves for some garbage that's going to help drop down, but still, again, not needing any of it that's easily accessible because he's going to have to drop that blue in column 8 to do that. Frank's in a little bit better of a position, but only needs blue and red for naturally occurring combos. There he goes. He opens up that yellow.
Yeah, looks like Influx doing what he generally does not like to do is take a little drop time, particularly early in the level, but he does have a half a dozen virus lead.
Not anymore,
Oh, here we
man.
go. Patsy.
Yeah, Frank had a beautiful combo in the center of the board. His board just looks gorgeous right now, except for a little too much blue red. But lots of double opportunities. He can get his game going really well. Beautiful L from Influx, though.
Oh yeah, I love that. Love that L to immediately clear out the garbage without any drop time whatsoever. Love that play.
Hmm. Nice horizontal from Influx, opening up some options there in row 3. You see, maybe he's going to be signaling to take out those blues horizontally. Not sure. We'll see what happens there.
The thing is, to get access, okay, he now has access to it. He's going to need this pill right here to get the
Hmm.
horizontal he's looking for. He
Nice,
was
but I
kind of
mean,
Yeah, he was kind of playing the long game there, which can be a little difficult because that kind of shoehorns you into making specific plays. And if you don't get the right pills for those plays, then it can cause problems.
hmm but these two neck and
Ooh, I
neck
like that.
again. Yeah, Frank just needs this double red and one more blue, and he'll be out. So these two very evenly matched, but Frank's timer says a little bit less than Influx's, so he is ahead at the moment.
A 2-minute 14 is still fantastic. Both of these
Oh,
players
yeah.
playing excellently right now.
Yeah, and these levels are chosen because they represent the very best of everything. First, the very best of the danger, starting the bottle at the highest levels, and also just having the viruses so tightly packed together, able to get good combos.
I'm wondering if Influx did that on purpose just to set that bridge up to get those blues horizontally.
Think
Looking at that,
so.
and he's in good position to drop this. Oh, if he gets a red yellow, watch out.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be really
He's
good.
waiting for it.
He really
Here
is,
it
and he's
comes.
got it. Wow. Oh
Nice.
my
Fat
gosh.
L into a drop combo.
That is outstanding. Wow. And with that, he's half a dozen viruses ahead of Frank by virus count. And yeah, Frank's dealing with a lack of blue there, but this horizontal. Ooh, I thought he was going to twist that to the side. Doesn't do that, but gets the horizontal anyway.
Looking at Influx's board right now, it looks like he's gonna he plan okay, he's planning a
Hmm.
half garbage fat log right there just to get rid of. Oh, nice L tuck.
Wow. That was really good. I wasn't sure how that garbage was going to clear until that very last second. I'm like, oh, wow.
Same here.
Yeah. So it looks like Frank is setting up. Oh, this two double red blues in
Oh,
a row.
look at that
Perfect.
combo by
Oh
Frank.
my
Outstanding.
gosh. I love that. Wow. Okay.
So this is what's fun about these levels. You generally want to keep things as simple as you can because you have a lot available to you early on generally. But
Yeah, but
it also gives you a lot of space to get a little creative with your clears. Get a little style points in there.
yeah, and these two represent the best of that creativity, and they are so close to one another. So just need some yellow to get Frank's game going, and this blue-red going to be very good for Influx. As soon as he gets one more blue, and of course having a little trouble with that, he is going to be out at a 421. Frank out at a 420.
Blazing through 15.
I
I
knew
had
you were going to say that. I know. But no,
nice sweet tea
like,
to start for Frank.
yeah, and Influx is struggling through just not having any blue on the top. He's going to clear off the blue and just open up a little bit of it at a time. Needs a bunch of red yellow.
Yeah, looking at Frank's board, he was getting those yellow blues that he didn't have much to use with. Decided to play the long game and go for the horizontal on those blues. He didn't end up getting the horizontal, but his board is still squeaky clean.
Hmm. Frank was able to take a nice horizontal there himself, tucking. Ooh, I wonder if he wanted to tuck that yellow down underneath. Did not quite get it. Now has entirely red yellow top line, blue only being used for garbage, and his blue viruses are really locked up there, Packy.
Yeah, most of the blue viruses are on the bottom half of his board. He's going to have a lot of drilling to do to get down to them. Influx, meanwhile, has a bit of a split board, but there's a lot of double opportunities waiting for him.
Mm-hmm, definitely. I'm wondering what's going to happen. See those doubles stacked up on each other horizontally, three deep. Very, very impressive. And if he can get these yellows in the center of the board down, he's going to have a beautiful L to drop.
Yeah,
Look at this.
he's gonna
Oh,
yup bang.
yeah. Fantastic.
It's slowly formed in my head, and I slowly realized what he was doing step by step.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna set up
Outstanding.
another drop horizontal action right here. Bang, bang.
And now he's got the opportunity to tuck in between yellows on column 8 or take these yellows out horizontally. Both very nice options. Meanwhile, Frank is really locked up on this right-hand side. That's all he can work on right now, and he needs reds in order to keep this game going.
They're starting to come, but our RNG is not being too terrible to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Had a bit of a decision to make there with the red blue, but now he's out at a 642.
Mm-hmm. And Influx already going to work on this level 17. He's about 8 viruses ahead of Frank at the moment. Needs a bunch of yellow to keep this going.
Yeah, looking at the left side of Influx's board right now, there's a lot of blue and yellow, followed by what looks to be a pretty thick red staircase.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, Frank gets a really nice combo there, but not quite sure what he's going to do with it next. I think he really wants to take out these reds horizontally at the
Oh,
top.
nice horizontal play by Influx to clear up his board.
Frank's going to have an awesome drop once he gets that last red. Let's go. Ooh, going to go for the double red here. Nicely done. Giant combo for Frank.
Frank is within 10 viruses right now, so it's not quite over. But
Mm-hmm.
the closer they get to the end, the tougher it's going to be to make up that deficit.
Right. And Frank's got some interesting plans. He is opening up that horizontal red. Did lose an opportunity for working with some blue in the process, but he is slipping back a little bit because he doesn't have a lot of pill halves on his board to get elaborate plans going.
Looking at what Influx has been doing, he's been put in a situation where he's been kind of forced to drop garbage onto his board, but he's made some clever horizontal plays to keep that to a minimum.
Speaking of horizontal, nice one from Frank there, and another one. But interesting, the center of this board has had a big clump of red on it. And he wasn't getting a lot of red, but he's going to get a good plan going with the yellows in the center of the board. Everything stacked on top of them to fall in a great combo. There we go. Boom, boom. And making plans for the yellows at the bottom of the board as well.
All of a sudden, it's a 2-virus game.
Outstanding.
But now, one fragment away from victory is Influx, possibly. Frank is not getting the blue he needs.
Oh, no. Oh, so close. Oh,
908 for Frank. 2 seconds off.
Wow. Dang. Outstanding. And both of those hot times. And I do mean very hot. Both of those are in the top 10 hottest times ever.
Six is good for 5th place, and that 908, Frank will end up tying himself for 6th.
Okay, guys, we see you. We see you. We got a ready from both players now.
So game 1 to our top seed Influx, who nearly joined the 19 club in his qualifier earlier this month.
Yeah, exactly. He was about 3 seconds away from doing that. Now, as we start our level 14s for these players, if you do want to join us, in order to qualify for the tournament, you've heard us talking about that a lot. You just boot up Twitch, you make an announcement on Discord, and then you play for about half an hour, actually exactly half an hour, and whoever clears the most viruses will be seated number 1, and bracket will be determined by how many viruses are cleared in that time. And 19 is the highest level anyone has ever reached, and 18 is an outstanding standard that these two have routinely set.
Influx is also our defending 2-time champion of the speed bracket, having won the last 2 years. And now it's a pretty tight game between the two of them.
And these boards have been beautiful, just like very comfortable, very nice. Boards that anyone would be happy to see.
Influx sees the horizontal clear and takes it immediately, and really this has been elementary play. That there's really hasn't been anything too complicated about these boards. Which is nice to see after having to, because you remember Influx's 17 had to involve a lot of tricky horizontal play to avoid garbage wherever possible.
For sure.
So it's always nice when the doc makes it a little easier for you.
And Frank, I mean, look at this end, just 2 nice vertical drops with those reds. He's out at about a 147. Meanwhile, Influx having a little bit of trouble here at the bottom of this board. I think he's going to want to take those blues out horizontally. Seems like the right play there. And then the yellow is going to be a little bit locked up there in column 3, but he'll be able to make some good plans and clear it out in no time, especially with the triple blue on top there.
Now he just needs a few more yellows to get out. Is the doc going to give it to him anytime soon? That is the question.
It's payback for the nice rest of the level, you know? He's out at a 227. About 20 viruses back from Frank right now. Not where you want to be at any point in the game, but there's still plenty of real estate left to work with.
Yeah, if there's a time you want to be down 20 viruses, I mean, generally there isn't, but if there is, this is a good time for it.
Yeah, but oh my gosh.
Frank is ripping apart this level 15.
He's just getting such great stuff and working with it perfectly, honestly. I mean, now, of course, everything is going to be on the right-hand side of this board. So things might be a little bit slow going if he doesn't get the blue off of the top. But looks like things are cooperating.
He's setting up everything on top of everything else with that combo on the right hand side.
Mm-hmm. Nice combo from Influx there. Now he does have some garbage cleaning out, but it's going to be really easily cleared with a little bit of blue. He is going to wait for it. He's going to sort of take it out as late as he possibly can and make room for lots of other plans before that nice tuck in column 6 for Influx.
And a nice use of garbage there to minimize drop time as well. He didn't really have any use for blue at that point, but he used it well in order to minimize drop time on his board. And that drop lightning bolt, and Frank is out of 15 at 353.
Woo. Man, really nicely done. Influx about a baker's dozen behind at the moment, and not a lot of space to get super elaborate plays here. Really has to clear off that yellow in column 5 to make things start to happen in the center of that board.
Yeah, Frank was hit with a double red run at the beginning of his 16, which really, he really didn't have many places to put a lot of those reds. So, bit of a rough start for him in level 16 after flying through the first couple of levels.
But hey, if you're going to have a rough start to your level 16, you want it to be when someone is having a rough finish to their 15, like Influx is. He just needs one more red, and he is out at a 452. He's about 17 viruses back, which is a little more of a deficit than he had when Frank got out of the level.
Frank is looking further down his board because he knows he has that red clear set up already, so he's setting up the reds and blues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking really good. Influx looking at a horizontal red of his own. Looks like he's signaling that he's going to do that. Nice. Gets the double red. And he's open up for another red horizontal that's going to take out these yellows in column 6. Very nicely done. Amazing vision. Setting up for even more horizontals here.
Influx just waiting for either a yellow blue or a double blue. Either one will work, really. Okay. Maybe he's going to just wait a little bit to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe it was that red virus in column 4 that he was waiting to get rid of.
Yeah, maybe. Wonder when he's going to drop this blue. He finally does. Beautiful combo work there. Yeah, and he's brought this to within 6 of Frank, which is outstanding.
And considering the lightning fast start Frank got off to, this is a pretty phenomenal comeback.
Definitely. And Frank, looking at that right-hand side of the board, looks a little bit tricky, but he has he's got himself a little bit checkerboarded. I think he would have loved to have some drop setups so that he could set up that fat log in the bottom right-hand corner. It didn't help. But so we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, Influx very free and clear here, other than that garbage on column 7, which is now clear. So things looking very good for him. Drop into a horizontal and another horizontal at the bottom of the board.
He's going to come out of 16 with the lead.
And almost a perfect clear. Outstanding.
This is a tale of two endgames right here. Frank had a rough go with his endgame setup, and now Influx has taken the lead because of it.
Whew, and it got to the very, very top of the bottle there, able to slide over. So he is out of danger. He definitely needs a lot of red yellow to keep this board going. Frank has a giant cross there in the middle of the board and opens up a lot of diversity. He is going to need a yellow to keep that going and keep the going strong.
Frank's got red on the corners of his board right now and pretty limited access to everything else. Let's see what he manages to pull off with this.
Yeah, he's got a lot of plans going for when these yellows come off of the board, and he's able to tuck really nicely there in column 8. Double red, exactly what he needs to see.
Nice horizontal play right there. Still has issues with access to yellow viruses, but now he's starting to get a good cluster of red pills, and that's going to help him out big time.
Mm-hmm.
But Influx now has opened up a lead of 11 viruses.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost a 14 at this moment, but
Ooh,
a
nice little
giant,
drop bolt.
yeah, giant lightning log from Frank at the moment. But look at this column 1 and 8. He's going to want to see these reds come down. He's not going to want to take drop time. A red blue would be perfect for column 1. Meanwhile, Influx needs a lot of yellow.
The story of Frank's board right now is his column 1 is going to be a problem because it's anything that gets slid in between those reds is going to need a lot of drop time. He's going to have to take his medicine, so to speak.
Oh my goodness. This blue is going to do it for Influx. He had a giant plan brewing and he waited for so long to have that come down and threw away what we would have thought were lots of opportunities for other clears. But notice he's got that horizontal setup again, falls, takes out that red horizontal,
Ooh.
and things will continue down the board in that fashion. A little bit more garbage than he'd like to see, but it's nothing he can't clean up.
It's 4-4.
Oh, is it really level 7 at the end of level 17? Jeez.
This drop combo will bring Influx out at a 943 and Frank out at a 941.
Yes. Oh my gosh, a 2-second game the other way. And Frank slides in with the hot time and Influx does not.
Wow. That was a heck of a game. Frank did a great job holding on to that lead after that rough endgame on 16.
Wow, that was amazing. All right, friends, keep this up. I'm sure there's some high heart rates.
I don't know how much more of this my heart can take.
I know, exactly.
But our best of 5 has now become a best of 3.
Mm-hmm. And Ramsey in the chat saying, encouraging people to join the tournaments. Yes, next week, you'll hear me say this, is going to be the silver bracket. That is for players below the 16th seed. Any player who is new, any player who is just getting started, it's a great place to get your feet wet. The commentary gives a lot of great lessons about things to look for, and it's just a really fun time. So stay tuned for details about that.
Right. Well, both players taking a brief little breather after 2 really exciting games.
Yeah, there's something going on, I believe, with Frank's camera. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Frank says his phone died.
Oh.
So we're going to give him a second to deal with that. All right. So we've confirmed that we will need a couple of minutes to get Frank back, having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Please stand by. Looks like Influx is going to practice 20 while he's waiting.
I am so glad that level 20 never shows up in any sort of regular tournament setting.
You say that, but then now we're going to have a triple overtime finals match.
Yeah, so everyone, speaking of overtime, if it happens that these two players tie, which given what we've already seen could happen, the tiebreaker protocol is that you go straight on to the next level. And I think, Packy, you and I were the first people to have that happen to us.
Yes, indeed. That was... Yeah, we were the first ones to go to overtime, and it was awesome, and it was exciting, and it was bonus Dr. Mario for all.
Yeah, now we've had double overtime at various points. Look at that fat log from Influx there at the top of level 20.
Yep. So a note about level 20. Oh, it looks like Frank is back, by the way. A note about level 20, however, before we begin the next match. you basically have 3 open rows on the top of your bottle, so it is actually possible to get vertical clears, but you don't have any room for error. And
And
if
you
you're
know,
and particularly if you're playing on high speed, you cannot reach the far right-hand side vertically if that virus is at as high as it can be. You pretty much have to go like underneath or horizontally. In case there's anybody in the chat who was trying to beat 20 high.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, level 20 on high often kills a lot of runs, and it's not a skill thing necessarily. It can just be, hey, did you not get the right pills that you needed to take something off the board in the first couple? Because that will really do it. And sometimes you're going to be playing a tough horizontal game at the top of that board.
Frank is working on his hand cam right now. Exo Girl Wonder, regarding level 20 high, it's the first part that's the most difficult. If you can get
Mm-hmm.
through the top of your board, then it's pretty much like playing the levels that you previously played just to get there. Once you pop open the cork, so to speak, the rest of it just is not nearly as difficult. All you have to do is break through that top layer. All right, we've got it ready for Menflux.
And a ready from Frank.
So we are set for game 3 after 2 games that were decided by 2 seconds each.
And we got our countdown 3, 2, 1. Pills.
The thing about these higher levels is there's not a lot of open space to work with between viruses. In earlier levels, maybe say 6 through 12, I'm probably wrong on that, but you have a lot more open space between viruses to play with, and you have more access to more of your board at a given time.
Mm-hmm.
These higher levels, it's much more difficult to get that access. You have to make some pretty clever plays.
Mm-hmm. And both players managing their top lines, their beginning of their games really well, and then both players running into a little trouble. Frank had so much blue that he had to deal with in the middle of that board, and now things are really cleaning up for him. But it was a little bit rough, and you see Influx dealing with a lot of blue himself, and then underneath is just sort of a U-shaped bend of all red. So that's pretty tough.
Yeah, what both players were kind of dealing with horizontal clears that they were waiting on, and they didn't really have many places to put other pills
Mm-hmm.
that would not trigger the combo they were looking for. So
Yeah.
it's not just a matter of top line diversity. It's also a matter of being able to accommodate pretty much any pill that's going to come down.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Now, Influx's board has a lot of fantastic doubles. I mean, the ones that are sort of exposed right now are all red. He needs to get red going in order to keep this board moving forward. And so notice he's not working on that left-hand side. He could use a blue-red. He could use a double blue to drop down. So I'm curious to see what these plans are. Oh yeah, he's building a cascade down that bottle.
Mm-hmm. Looks like wants to clear out those blues before he clears out the reds in column 1. And now he's waiting for blues.
Oh, and a mistuck from Frank there. He was working on underclearing this red, didn't get it, but finally gets it again. Oh, he's out at about a 218.
Yeah, thankfully he was playing on medium speed because that's a bit more hairy when you're playing on high.
Yeah, for sure. And Influx out at about a 235. Just a very small deficit to Frank at the moment. Nothing to speak of. And Frank's got a ton of blue on this top line. Ooh, this double blue, excellent for him to take a T off the top. Very nicely done. And he can take out the spire in column 6. Everything's coming up Frank right now.
I was looking at Inflox's board, and he had some really clever plays to trigger some horizontals. Keeping a good eye on that next box, knowing what's coming, and using what the doctor gives him. But right now, Frank has the lead by 8 viruses.
And a beautiful lightning log to take off some pills, some viruses, and some garbage. So very nicely done there. And yeah, this top line's got a lot of doubles, both on the surface and a couple lines down, so he can really keep these things going. Needs a bunch of blue, though, and should prioritize the left-hand side blues to keep exposing more colors.
Looking at what Influx was doing earlier, it looked like he wanted to trigger some horizontal plans, but the RNG just wasn't giving it to him, so he eventually decided to abandon it.
Looks like he's got some interesting possibilities here in the middle of that board. If he clears out this blue appropriately, he could drop down and have a nice horizontal with the reds, and then he's got more plans going on down below. So here he gets that
Here we go.
blue-red, very nicely done, and set up for another quick combo. So currently these two
nice
very close together.
Influx had a nice little tuck move to get that pill down at the bottom. And this T clear into a drop combo, and that sets up the reds at the bottom of his board.
Very, very nice.
All he has to do now is get a couple of yellow fragments, and he's done. But Frank is already done at a 441.
All right, Influx gets that combo. 451 for Influx. Very nicely done.
Influx getting some pretty simple plays to start his level 16 while he tries to close this 6 virus gap. I really like this board so far. I see plenty of double opportunities.
Yeah, Frank has turned his board into a little bit of a spire here in the center, so he definitely doesn't want to be dropping down anything to the left of columns 4, 5, and 6 unless it makes a beautiful combo like that.
Yeah, Influx got a very timely double yellow.
And these two are tied now by virus count. There's about a 4-second difference on the timer.
So let's see how Influx decides to attack these horizontal opportunities that he sees on his board right now. I like that play.
Frank's got a nice quick double vertical there. Is going to deal with some blue on the top line, which he uses to expose a red. Very nicely done. Tucking a double red all the way down to the bottom of the board. As soon as he reaches the end game stage, he's going to want to make sure that all the yellows are open, and notice him tucking for some awesome yellow horizontals. That's going to help it be a little bit easier to prioritize in the end.
Influx getting that tuck clear to trigger the combo to collapse column number 8. And this red-yellow is going to help him set up the left side of his board. Now he needs a fistful of red. And looks like he's starting to get it.
Yeah, looking very good. And of course, Frank still needing all of this yellow. Look at him triggering really big combos here. And beautiful double horizontal into a T. Just really nicely done there. But Influx out at about a 7-17. So
Frank gets the perfect pill to finish off his level with a lightning bolt.
Out at about a 720. Very nicely done. Influx gets everything that he needs to take these blues off horizontally. And look at all the yellow and blue that he needs.
Yeah, Dr. Mario is kind of deadlocking him into needing that yellow and blue right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nice tee from Frank there on the left-hand side of the board with all of those blues.
so it looks like Influx is not going to try to take out these 3 blue viruses horizontally. And honestly, I think that's a good idea because other than those 3 blue viruses, he does not have much access to blue. And if he kills off those 3 viruses, then it could create problems for him. But now he's nice L clear. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good. That was kind of the way around that situation. Not a lot of use for yellow though at the moment. Influx would have to tuck around to the bottom. But actually, as I say that, of course, he gets a lot of it open. Now, Frank's got a couple of spires here on this board, kind of high up in certain places. Continues to do combos with as much blue and yellow as he can muster.
But soon enough, Frank's going to need to start knocking some of this down. Takes the sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
And he is 6 viruses behind Influx right now, who looks to have a pretty clean end game right now.
Yeah, he really does.
Oh, nice. That
Especially,
is
oh,
just
this double yellow,
sparkling.
perfect for him.
All he needs now is a few more reds, and he's going to be done.
And
He's out at a
wow.
925, and we've
Which
hit 925 for Frank, which ends game 3.
mm-hmm. And a 925, also a hot time. Influx is tying himself from January of last year. So again, just showing that these are the players that are capable of just smashing this whole round.
And a 947 for Frank. Only a 22-second difference. So game 3 goes to Influx, and now Frank's got to win 2 in a row to take the title.
Mm-hmm. And Influx is coming off of a 12-0 season last year. Now, because he didn't participate in many tournaments last year, he was seeded 13th in our year-end standings, but that's only off of 4 tournaments with 100% win rate. So is Frank going to be the one to pierce this armor? Let's see.
We shall see. Frank is very much capable of doing so. But now we have a countdown. 3, 2, 1, pill. We are go for game 4. Thank you for the subscription, Pixie Spud.
Pixie Spud with the sub. Yeah. Let's go.
We like our potatoes here, don't we?
We do. All right. Would really love a double yellow for Frank or anything yellow to advance this nice plan that he's got going on the right-hand side. Oh, yeah. Gets that double yellow and it cascades down into an awesome combo.
Some good early play from both players. Influx probably getting a little tired of those blue reds, just starting to throw them down. But a nice little drop combo to at least utilize the reds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of garbage on Influx's board. It was looking bad, and now with this yellow horizontal possibility, it takes out a bunch of it and actually diversifies, gets some blue on the board that otherwise wouldn't be there. Nice combo from Frank, and setting up a lot of good stuff with the reds in the center of this board. Look at what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, very nicely done.
Excellent combo from Frank. Nice T clear into a drop combo. We all love those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frank has got so much good stuff available on this board. Red yellow would be great. Just Especially, I mean, look at that bottom row. He's setting up for any yellow would drop the blues off and look really, really good for him.
Frank was getting blue pilled to death, which is pretty rare, but it does happen. Decides to do a fat log with the garbage, and then he can just drop combo out of 14 out of 151.
Very nicely done. I mean, he was building so that he had those options that horizontals could come for the blue either from the left or the right. Ended up going from the right there. Influx just needing some red and a little bit of yellow. The yellow is going to be taken out horizontally at the bottom. Very nicely done. Getting one red. A little bit of drop time. Needs one more. Come on. And out at a 223.
Looking at Frank's board right now, he's got a cluster of red on the right-hand side, which if he gets, say, a red-yellow, yes, there we go. Set up the T-clear.
Nice combo from Influx, working with a lot of yellow and red. Blue is just starting to get opened up here. But notice Influx setting up an awesome horizontal combo. As soon as he drops this yellow, which he's going to do with the blue, it takes off all that red. And the blue garbage, quote, in column 2 got used for another clear.
Right side of Frank's board looks pretty concerning right now. And he's not really getting a whole lot of blue to work with. And he has a pretty decent cluster of blue viruses. Oh, that'll definitely help. That timely double blue to get the sweet tea.
That's looking very good. And looking at him tucking to the bottom. Nice combo from Frank there. He's looking at another horizontal with these blues. But that's given Influx a little bit of an opportunity to catch up. And Frank's board is still a little bit messy there.
Let's. Oh, nice little clear there. That straightens things out. That drop is gonna take out his plans for the horizontal on those blues, but it's not going to take him long to build back up to it.
Nice work from Influx, taking out some of that red. His board is entirely on the right-hand side, so he had no choice, no options of building in other directions. Nice horizontal there. Frank out at about a 417. Influx not too far behind.
He made up. Okay. Wait. In my head, I think I miscalculated something. But he's got the tea. He's got the sweet tea set. Or no, make it a lightning log.
Very nice there. And another nice combo from Frank. Influx out into his level 16, about 11 viruses back, about 13 viruses back now. Nice combos.
Okay. He had the double blue coming at least. Frank looked like he had misdropped, but it really wasn't a big deal at all.
Now, Influx is the one that needs quite a bit of blue right now.
He definitely does not need red, and unfortunately he's getting quite a bit of it. Here's a double blue to help him out.
And it looks like he's making a plan for not sure what he's going to do with those yellows that are there. I think the prioritization is just like get that blue off the board as soon as you can. Do we have a misdrop from Frank in the center of that board?
We have a couple, but I don't think he intended to do that, and I can actually say that with a little bit of confidence at least, because you never know what they're actually planning, you know?
But that's true.
Right now, Frank needs some blue, but he does have a lead of 7 viruses.
Influx taking advantage of the short double red blitz to get a nice combo there. Now just needs a ton of blue. Gets it. A very nice long horizontal there across the board to take out some blue that was there on the right. Very nicely done. Getting a bunch of red, yellow, which is what he needs. Looks like he might be signaling that he's going to set up a horizontal up top there with that yellow. Not sure how he's going to build to that, but we will see.
Yeah, we will definitely see. I'm wondering if he's holding out for a double yellow at this point to start because he wants to take that top one out first. But he decides to take the horizontal underneath now. And actually that's going to work out all right because now he's got that horizontal garbage clear, which is going to straighten everything out in column 1.
That's true. Oof. Meanwhile, though, Frank free and clear out of his level 16 at a 705. And his first pill able to drop a nice horizontal. That always feels so
Nice
good when you can drop
combo
that.
from Influx here. And
Woo!
he's going to be out at a 721.
Yeah, so he's about 8 viruses back. Of course, we know that means nothing. Frank dropping into a nice horizontal there. Has a bunch of red and blue on this top line, but he just gets enough to start clearing that out.
Checking out Frank's board right here. He's able to accommodate pretty much every pill. And here's a T clear into a drop combo. Excellent.
That was so good. Love it. Influx working on the yellow on the left-hand side of his board. Everything primed to make a nice drop combo.
And another sweet T into a drop combo for Frank, who has a pretty clustered right-hand side of the board right now. Let's see how he managed. Let's see how he attacks this.
Influx having to throw away those blue yellows on the left-hand side, but making a nice L. He can just keep tossing those blue yellows, and he does so to clear that all out and get himself a clean slate. And so he's going to be using reds on the left and blues and yellows on the right.
Meanwhile, it's all blues and reds for Frank right now. He does have access to 1 yellow virus at the moment, but he's going to need to address column 1 pretty soon. That was probably what he was waiting for, the blue-red.
Yeah, and in terms of the way these two boards are shaped for end games,
here comes a drop lightning bolt for Frank into a drop combo.
Influx is really coming up hard on his heels, though. And that
looks
board
like
is so
Frank
good.
is setting up for horizontals here. This is going to drop those yellows 1 row, and then he's going to set up the drop combo and get exactly what he needs to trigger it.
Really want that decider. Really want it.
And Frank really doesn't want that drop time on column 8 right now.
No, exactly. Okay, that blue's just got to get going.
He's got 2 viruses and a few seconds, and he's going to get out at 9:32.
Oh my goodness.
Decider.
Wow. Oh.
Whew.
And a 9:32 is yet another hot time there.
This game 5 will now be the 10th straight game that Frank is in.
Wow. Yeah, it is always tough to be in that second semi and then go straight to the finals. You don't get as much of a break as you would want. And man, Frank really coming in. Frank says match of the year. This very well could be, for sure.
We've got it ready from Influx.
Kind of ready from Frank.
Both are on the menu. Neither picking chill. I'm disappointed. That's
and
the
we had
only
our countdown
thing about this match, to be fair.
Oh, no chill.
No chill.
I hear you. I'm a big chill fan. Influx not getting any yellow, and he wants it for this horizontal. Drops into a nice combo. Again, needs yellow.
Yeah, there's no way around it, really. Oh, nice big horizontal clear right there. To take out a virus or 2 and clean up and more importantly, clear up his garbage.
Now, Frank needs a lot of red for this top line, but as soon as he gets it, he's set up for taking so many red viruses off the top. Still, no yellow for a couple of layers down.
Looks like he's signaling for a here's the sweet tea into the drop combo for Influx.
Goodness.
Destroying this level 14.
Mm-hmm. About 11 viruses ahead of Frank, who is dealing with not having anything to do with yellows, has a nice vertical into a horizontal, but really needs blue and red to keep moving forward.
Nice tuck clear by Influx there to clear up and expose the yellow viruses in column 3.
Frank working through a small double red blitz. Now, yes, Frank is looking for this red-blue, drops into a drop cross and takes the other pill halves right to that yellow in the center. So it's about a 6 virus game here. Really good looking plans for both players. Look at this. Influx going to take out that blue to the yellows, sets up for the red horizontal at the bottom of the board. And just like that, he's down to 1. Just needs a couple of blues to be out.
And there 2 minutes on 14. And Frank has just now hit 2 minutes, so Influx has a bit of a lead right now.
Mm-hmm. Frank's done at a 209. Influx setting up a horizontal with those reds.
Specifically wants the red-blue. He didn't quite want that because it wouldn't quite be an optimal combo, but he didn't have time to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he has had to create quite a little bit of garbage in order to make his plans continue going. Notice that yellow garbage glaring there. He is going to want to build up and clear that out horizontally. He does have the opportunity to do that, but he really wants a red-yellow to do so to get those horizontals working. He kind of abandons that and keeps moving forward. Wow, these two are tied.
Smart play by Influx because he basically put himself in a situation where he had multiple pills that he could use to get himself out of that situation
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to wait for the perfect pill.
Wow. Influx has just not had a lot of diversity going on. Floyd, Frank, bringing his board down just a little bit at a time.
Floyd's on the brain, apparently.
I know, well, it's just these F names. Like, people should not have any names that start with the same letter. Bless you.
Floyd, Frank, and Flux.
Mm-hmm, exactly. All right, speaking of Influx, it looks like he might be leaving himself open to take these yellows out horizontally. Gets the double yellow. Perfect. 11 left to
That
go.
one red fragment of garbage in column 5 it's just one of those things for Influx that's just going to cause drop time that he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But he eventually decides to just take it and move on.
Frank looking like he's making some setups for the bottom of that board, getting some horizontals ready. Once the
Influx just waiting for a red.
Frank just
And
needs one more.
Frank waiting for a blue. Out
Out
at
at 429.
I think Frank has a slight lead now at this point. Nice horizontal from Influx to start level 16.
Mm-hmm. Nice horizontal from Frank, getting up to the top of that bottle. Not as scary on medium speed as it is on high.
So far, Influx playing this pretty well. This double blue is going to be a big help. He only needs one blue fragment to trigger this L clear, and he's using the double L's to set up things elsewhere.
And really nice work from Frank, too, and getting just the pills that he needs to advance this board. He's got a long blue chasm in the center of the board that is like dying for some double horizontal action. We'll see if he's able to drop that down and make that happen. Would love a double blue for him or an artificial setup.
Influx has a little bit of garbage on his board. It's nothing too bad, but he does have a lack of access to red right now. He really could use some blue.
Yeah, they both could. Eesh. Frank's still looking at that horizontal with the blues up top that I
Look
mentioned
at
a
that
long time ago.
gigantic clear.
Oh, wow.
That looked pretty.
Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff.
And a nice little tuck by Influx to minimize his drop time. Smart play.
Frank ahead by about 11 with a really nice combo just now. Ooh, the red-blue is going to be exactly what he needs to keep moving forward. Going to set up a vertical and then horizontal those reds. Nicely done.
At some point, Influx is going to need to attack columns 1 and 2, and he immediately does. And this nice little drop combo is going to set up the in-between clear, which he misses with the first yellow he gets. Brief moment of perhaps discombobulation there, but he's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
There
And
were no
Frank,
catastrophic errors there, but Frank is already out of 16
mm-hmm.
with a substantial lead.
Yeah, exactly. And starting to get going here.
Don't think Influx meant to do that.
No. But he is able to get that yellow off of the bottom still. There's nothing he can do but clear off this garbage on the top. There he goes.
He got a yellow-red there to avoid any drop time. So it's 7:32. With a 14 virus deficit, Influx advances to 17 in our deciding game.
Mm-hmm. But Frank has not been able to get this board going and really be able to take advantage of the time. It's got a lot of red up there, not receiving a lot of red. Finally starting to get those combos going. There we go.
There we go.
But still doesn't need any red. What?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, if he's playing the long game a little bit here, clearing out that yellow virus in column 4, if he can get those blues horizontally, he's going to be pretty well set.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how he attacks this.
Got Influx's board, quite a bit of yellow there at the top, tucking far underneath, and he is opening up a chasm in columns 3 and 4, and that could cause some drop time later if he's not careful.
Frank did finally get his horizontal, and now look at this board. It looks so incredible.
So good. That's a board you really want to see.
Looks like he's going to play the long game a little bit and go for a horizontal on that red. And once he knocks out this blue virus in column 4, he could potentially even set up a sweet tea here.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to get some red pill halves. He would like to get a red blue, and that's exactly what he's going to. He's going to play.
Oh, and he didn't use it there where I thought he would.
Okay. Oh, but he's still going to be able to set this up nicely with this.
Oh my gosh.
He's one red fragment away from ending this. And here's the big drop combo to finish it off.
Goodness. Out at 9:32.
Wow.
Oh man. Yeah, and that is, I mean, actually, I don't really know if that's still a hot time because of all the hot times that were set in this match, but it definitely is from my vantage point. What a way to end that decider. GG's to both players.
Frank has managed to hand Influx a rare loss here in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Influx hasn't lost in over like a year and a half, probably. Maybe longer than that.
So GG's to both players, and congratulations to our May 2023 champion, Frank.
GG's. Well-deserved win. Packy, do you have any last-minute thoughts for the crew out there?
Well, just looking at the field in general, I feel like every player is getting closer and closer together in terms of skill. Like it's still I still have a pretty good sense that like the top players are still the top players, but everybody else is just getting closer and closer to that level. And it's great to see. It's led to some players managing to steal games from top players every once in a while. Games are just getting closer. We saw 2 2-second games in that series. It's been really
Mhm.
exciting.
It really has. And, you've been here since the beginning. I mean, we're celebrating 3 years this month and just 3 years of amazing play from you. It must be really great to see the scene grow in such a way.
And I love every single person in this community. They've just all been so awesome, and you
Well,
guys make this community great. You really do.
definitely do. So let's talk about some events that we have coming up this week. On Tuesday, we have our monthly versus checkup. So if you are itching to play some verses and you're saying, speed, I don't want this business, you have the opportunity. If you go to our Discord and you check out the channel that says monthly versus checkup, you can get all the information there. Again, that is this Tuesday. And next Saturday at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern, we're going to be having our silver bracket. And so we've got some new players in there this month. Let's see. Let's see who we got. Yeah, we're going to have Every Time We Slay, their debut, and some old familiar faces as well. So please stick around for that. So please join us next week. Thank you so much for watching. And happy birthday, DrMC. And as always, take your vitamins.
Take your vitamins, and for some people in this room, you can go back to playing Zelda now. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.